President Biden has announced a plan to remake Social Security. This plan is going to change Social Security in a big way and is going to affect everyone, including those who are currently on Social Security and disability benefits and people who are going to be getting Social Security or disability in the future. So stay tuned to the end of this video as I explain the president's 4-part plan to remake Social Security and how it's going to affect current beneficiaries and future people who are ready to retire or are going to be getting Social Security disability. So, if you are new to our channel, Social Security Edge is about bringing you the latest news and update about anything related to Social Security and disability that is going to affect your benefits. So, if you are new, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button so that you'll be the first to know when we release new videos. So, let's jump right into this plan by President Biden to remake Social Security. So, why is this important? And why is the president touching Social Security at all? Well, let's find out the reasons why this is even a discussion. The first thing is that Social Security and Medicare are facing a lot of financial issues. The baby boomer generation is retiring and healthcare costs are rising, and demand on the Social Security system is actually at a very, very high level than it's ever been because there are more people who are drawing from Social Security than are paying into it. So that is creating a problem in terms of just the amount of money that's going into it versus the amount of money that is coming out of the Social Security system. So obviously for the 67 million people who are relying on Social Security, here's the big issue. The Social Security Trust Fund is going to be strained and is projected to be depleted by 2030. It doesn't mean that all the money is going to be gone. It just means that you won't be able to get 100% of what you are entitled to. It's going to be a portion of that. In addition to that, there's issues with Medicare where, the Medicare Hospital Insurance Trust Fund is projected to be depleted in just 4 years by 2028. On top of that, there's a 10% shortfall in hospital coverage that is expected to happen in 2029. So this is the background of why the president wants to take action. So what specifically is the president proposing to do? Well, according to this article from The Motley Fool, this plan is going to cost $273 billion to implement. And every time there's a plan that costs money, that amount of money, there's going to be a lot of noise in Congress about it. So let me explain the detail of the president's plan and why it makes sense to some people. So here we go. Now, first, we need to acknowledge that Social Security is vital for retirees. 9 out of 10 people rely on Social Security as their main, at least a large portion of their income. It has lifted many seniors out of poverty because remember, about 40 to 50% of seniors rely solely on Social Security as their only source of money every single month. So it's the program that has lifted many, many, many people out of poverty because without Social Security, a lot of seniors will be in poverty. And there's a demographic shift going on. As we said, the baby boomer generation is retiring and there's going to be a 22 trillion funding shortfall in the Social Security Trust Fund. So why is this important? Well, a lot of people rely on this money and something needs to happen. Otherwise, there will be big financial problems for seniors and retirees down ahead. So the president came up with a 4-part plan to address this issue with Social Security. And I'm going to explain each part of the plan because it affects current beneficiaries and future beneficiaries. So you want to know for yourself how this is going to impact you. So there's 4 components to this plan. Increase the payroll taxation on higher income earners, change the inflationary tether to the consumer price index for the elderly, increase the special minimum benefit for Social Security, and then raise the primary insurance amount, which is called the CPI-E, for aged beneficiaries. So let's get into the specific detail of what each of these pillars mean. So the first one is to raise the payroll taxes on higher income earners. Why is that important? Well, currently, as you know, the Social Security system is funded by payroll taxes. If you're working, you're paying 12.4% payroll taxes into the system. Well, there's a maximum cap. So for 2023, that cap is $160,200. It means that if you make up to $160,200, you are going to pay Social Security taxes on your income. After that, after $160,200, you don't have to pay Social Security taxes. It used to be that if you also make $400,000 and above, you have to pay taxes on that income. Well, that was gotten rid of. That went away. So President Biden is trying to bring that back. And what that's going to create is that if his plan is implemented and people making above $400,000 have to pay Social Security taxes on income above that, it's going to create what we call the donut hole. So let me explain what the donut hole is. So if, let's say, you have people who make $160,200, here is their level. They're going to pay Social Security taxes. And then people, what they are proposing, the president is proposing, is that people who make $400,000 are going to also pay Social Security taxes above money, over $400,000. So anything above $400,000, they're going to pay. So between $400,000 and $160,000, there's a gap. And that's what is called the donut hole. What that means is that the president is hoping that with cost of living adjustment to wage, they call it the national wage index, slowly this gap will close. So eventually everybody making money, regardless of your income, will pay Social Security taxes. So that is what that means. Now, why is this all important? Well, the tax on $400,000 and above is also going to apply to Medicare. Remember, Medicare is the healthcare program for seniors. Well, that is also under strain. So the president is also proposing to raise the Medicare tax, because in payroll, you pay Social Security and Medicare taxes. Well, he's trying to raise the payroll taxes for Medicare from 3.8% to 5%. And the goal and how that is going to impact the Medicare system is that the Medicare Trust Fund is going to be solvent beyond 2050 by at least 25 years. So he's extending the lifeline of the Medicare Trust Fund by 25 years by increasing the tax rate from 3.8% to 5%. Now, so that is the first plan, the first part of the plan. The second part of the plan, which I am very, very excited about, is to change the inflationary rate or inflationary measure that is used to calculate the Social Security cost of living adjustment. If you don't know, this year the cost of living adjustment came in at 3.2% for 2024. A lot of seniors were disappointed by that. A lot of people on Social Security disability were disappointed by that, because given where inflation is and has been, and given that prices have gone up the last few years and stayed up, especially healthcare inflation for drugs and co-pays and premiums and just medical treatment, a 3.2% cost of living adjustment, a lot of people felt was not realistic. And so the president is proposing that the Social Security Administration will change the system by which the cost of living adjustment is calculated. So let me explain. Currently, the Social Security Administration uses a Bureau of Labor Statistics inflation index that is called the Consumer Price Index for wage earners and clerical workers. And they track a list of goods and services that affect urban wage workers and clerical workers. And they look at that for the third quarter of this year compared to the third quarter of last year. And if prices have gone up, then they adjust COLA accordingly. Here's the problem with that system, is that a lot of urban wage earners and clerical workers are not on Social Security. So to use their living expenses, to use cost of goods and services that affect urban wage earners and clerical workers to calculate cost of living adjustment for seniors over 62 is kind of a mismatch. So the president is proposing that rather than use the CPI-W, which is what the Urban Wage Earners and Clerical Workers Inflation Index is called, he's proposing a new one to be called CPI-E, which is going to be the Consumer Price Index for the elderly, which tracks the spending habits of households with individuals age 62 and over, which then will result in a more accurate reflection or a more accurate COLA for seniors. Since majority of beneficiaries over 62, this will show what the expenses and things that affect them the most, like cost of drugs, medical expenses, etc. So this idea of using CPI-E has also caught the attention of Congress, and there's been a push in Congress to trying to change the COLA to CPI-E. So what does this mean? Well, there are progressive legislators in Congress that have been pushing for this. They've introduced 2 bills in 2023 called the Fair COLA Act, for seniors, and the Social Security Expansion Act. And the CPE is designed to reflect the spending patterns of Americans aged 62 and older, including expenses like prescription drugs. If you're on prescription drugs, you know the price of drugs have been increasing way above the 3.2% COLA that came in this year. So that is the movement in Congress to try to change and support the president in changing how COLA is calculated from CPI-W to CPI-E. The third pillar of the president's 4-part plan, which I think is the most important in my opinion, is to increase the special minimum benefit. What does this mean? Well, if you receive Social Security, everybody that receives Social Security, if you've worked enough to qualify, there is a minimum benefit that you can get. It was set to make sure that even people who do not work and earn enough money or earn a lot of money but paid into the system will have a baseline of earnings that they can get to make it a little bit, sustainable for them to make a living. So that baseline special minimum benefit is actually very low. So the president is proposing to increase that minimum benefit to 125% of the federal poverty level. Well, what is the federal poverty level? Well, every year, the U.S. government releases what we call, a big chart about what they consider as the baseline for poverty. Depending on the number of people in your household, there's a specific number that is considered as the poverty level for that household. And so it is used to qualify people for government benefits. It is used in a lot of situations to decide where aid is applied for certain people. So it's a very important chart, and it's released every year. And the president is proposing that the minimum special Social Security benefit be put at 125% above the federal poverty level. So it's not asking for a lot, which essentially means that the current special minimum benefit is at the poverty level. So let's look at what that means. So currently, if you're only receiving the special minimum Social Security benefit, you're getting $1,033.50. If you annualize that by 12, it's only $12,402. That amount is going to go up by $33 next year to $1,066.50. So the annualized rate for that is $12,798. So how does that compare to the federal poverty level? Well, as you can see from this chart, this is the federal poverty level for 2023 for the U.S., the lower 58 states, Hawaii, and Alaska. It's $14,580 for an individual. If you are making $14,580 a year, you are considered to be at the poverty level. Anything below that, you are below poverty level. So, as you can see from the Social Security minimum level that I showed you, an annualized rate is $12,402. Well, if the poverty level for an individual is 14,000 and something, then you know that the minimum Social Security level is below the poverty level. So a lot of seniors who are receiving just Social Security benefits as their primary source of income are living below the poverty level. So the president is proposing to raise that so that these seniors can get a lift, those who are just receiving the minimum. And this is a big deal because it's going to cause a 47% increase in the amount of money if that was implemented today. If the president's plan was implemented today, people who are receiving the special minimum Social Security benefit are going to go from $12,798 to $18,228, which is a 47% increase because it's $485.25 more money than you're getting if you're only getting the special minimum benefit, which will be a 47% increase. So that is a big deal. And that is why I'm excited. That's probably the most important part of this program that I'm excited about. And then lastly, the president wants to change what they call the PIA for aged beneficiaries. So the PIA is the base amount of Social Security benefits a person is eligible to receive. And what the president wants to do is increase that at age 78 through 82. Why is that important? Well, people are living longer. People are staying in retirement longer. The typical retirement in the past used to be somebody who retire at 62, 65, and will live in retirement for 3 or 5 years and then they're dead. Well, people are living longer. So it's not inconceivable for people to retire at 62 and live till 90 or live till 85, live till 100. So retirement is longer. People are staying on Social Security longer, and their cost of living, especially for healthcare, also increases as they get older. So the plan is to boost the minimum benefit that they receive. The baseline is to increase with age, so that as cost of living increases to care for seniors between 78 and 82, that their Social Security benefits will also reflect that because of the rising expenses later in life, such as healthcare costs and prescriptions. So let me explain in detail what this means and how this is going to work. Well, there's this article from Yahoo Finance that covered the 4 shakeups to Social Security that President Biden is proposing. And part of it is this PIA idea that I'm explaining, and is basically the baseline amount retirees receive based on their earning history. It is an essential factor in calculating Social Security benefits, and any increase in PIA directly impacts the monthly benefits for eligible beneficiaries. So, what does that mean? How is that going to work? Well, the purpose of increasing the PIA is to provide additional financial support for aged beneficiaries during their retirement years. As people age, as I said, their healthcare costs go up, prescription expenses go up, potentially higher costs for medical transportation. So increasing the PIA is to help them through those challenges and the increased costs they are facing. And what age is the president targeting, and why is that age group important? Well, the proposal specifically focuses on beneficiary age between 78 and 82 because the data shows that this is the age group that has a dramatic increase in healthcare costs. So, by gradually increasing the PIA during these years, it provides seniors more financial security and mitigate the impact of rising living expenses. And this is the benefit, is to give them money to help with the cost that is going to be associated with people at this age. And it's also to help them maintain their standard of living so that seniors at this age are not sacrificing food and other things that they need to live just to pay for medical costs. So the plan is going to cost a lot of money. As I said, it's going to cost about $273 billion according to the Motley Fool. And the president is determined to push this through and make sure that the Social Security, disability, Medicare beneficiaries have a future that they know is secure, and that future beneficiaries also are going to be able to get the benefits that they deserve. So that is the president's plan. If you are new to this channel, I want you to hit the subscribe button. This is what we are all about, to bring you the latest news and updates on anything that will affect your Social Security, disability, Medicare, Medicaid benefits. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button so you'll be the first to know when we have breaking news. And until we see you in the next video, I want to thank you for watching.